I want to take a minute to gently let you know that the next conversation is going to include things of our sensitive topics like reproductive trauma, miscarriage, and loss. And if this subject is tender to you, I do want you to take care of yourself and know that you can pause, you can step away, or skip ahead to the next chapter if this topic is too sensitive for you. This is Mom-Versations, as told by Canadian immigrants.
The loss was quite devastating, and it was traumatic.
In another country far away from home, we left the village behind, experiencing loss. And then you have to untell them they are not here, they're not around you. We left the village behind.
There's an uncertainty about how to respond to this invisible loss because you never met the person, never met my baby.
I remember hugging you for long. Like I knew I didn't know what to say. I just hugged you and I just held you.
It was so devastating, and like you say, just how much silence sort of surrounds reproductive trauma.
Actually, when I went into labor in the morning, I called my midwife and I said, I'm experiencing cramps. She's like, oh, you don't sound like you're in labor.
Wow.
At 1:00, we were like, let's just go. And I was like 8 centimeters dilated when I got there.
Oh my gosh.
I could have had this child at home.
In the car?
In the car. Siobhan, right now you actually support moms. You support women, people who have experienced reproductive trauma.
My desire for women's issues has always been there. But what I recognize in having lived my own experience is that reproductive trauma doesn't just affect women.
Any tips?
When you're seeking fertility treatment, it can be having a child for the first time and not having your...
So your mom didn't come? She couldn't come?
No, she couldn't come. They weren't allowing family.
Siobhan,
Hello, Christina.
Hello. You happen to be part of my village here, over here in Canada. We happen to be part of the village that we had to rebuild.
Oh, yes.
And even so, I don't think we've ever had this conversation. So for you, for me, and for the benefit of my audience here on As Told by Canadian Immigrants, we're going to talk about what it's like, that season of your life, probably at one of the most difficult moments as an immigrant mother, in another country far away from home. We left the village behind, experiencing loss.
Yeah.
What's that like, or what was that season like for you emotionally? Expecting to have a family, getting there, getting excited, the village, you tell them on WhatsApp, yay, show them the things, and then you have to untell them on WhatsApp, but then they are not here, they're not around you. We left the village behind. What's that season experience like?
I am just so honored to be here, to have an opportunity just to talk. You know, every one of us, regardless of age, culture, gender, we all have a reproductive story. It's that story where you have all your dreams, your hopes and beliefs about what it means to be a parent and just having children, whether you have or not. And this story would have started since we were little kids, you know, you playing through play, you watching your own parents or grandparents. And so I've always known that I wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to have 2 kids. It was going to be a boy and a girl. And yeah, it was going to happen. And then eventually over the years, it changed to, well, I just want to have 3 kids and it's just going to be boys. And so I knew at a certain, maybe after completing my degree, that I was going to get married and definitely having children. And so the decision came, yep, we're ready to start. And I'm like, well, yeah, everywhere around me, I see people having kids, young, older. Like, this is what we do. This is a natural
and that's
thing
what
that
Hollywood
happens.
says.
Absolutely. Like, you just do the do and you have a child, you know? And I mean, I think I was 30, and feeling very healthy, always felt healthy and strong and very active. So I thought, well, I know the science.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be a walk in the park. And so we tried and tried, and it took a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what people always say? Just keep trying. Don't
Mm-hmm.
worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let anxiety take over because that's going to interrupt it. But after, I think it was 9 months, we finally got the positive that we were looking for. And man, were we thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
Just truly excited, Um, and so we got connected with our with healthcare professionals, and I felt comfortable with the person that we chose. And they seemed to have had he was a person of color and had good knowledge about Caribbean. As I felt, yeah, you're gonna understand me.
Yeah.
But that experience really caused, well, I don't know that it caused, but it through that experience was my first introduction to reproductive trauma, where
Okay.
anything sort of interrupt your dreams of pregnancy or the outcome that you've hoped for pregnancy and childhood, childbearing.
Interesting. Interesting. And this was a male.
This was a male gynecologist that my choices were an older female or this male person that I thought culturally made sense for us.
Right. 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 And I want to, before we get to the loss, because so here you are in Canada, right? You don't have immediate family here,
No,
right?
no.
And so you guys get married, you guys are in Canada at some point, you're thinking about starting the family. And what did did it ever occur to you while you were preparing and getting excited for that okay, I'm gonna have this kid, but like, who's gonna help me?
That's a good question. That's a very good question because, like you said, I came by myself initially
Mm-hmm.
to complete school, and so didn't have any immediate family. I had one cousin who lived in Toronto, and at the time I lived in Scarborough and then Brampton, and so yeah, no immediate family. And then when my spouse joined me, there was just the two of us living in Hamilton,
Mm-hmm.
no friends,
Yeah.
truly, truly alone. And but I never. I looked at other people and I saw that, what was clear to us was that people who have family, they have grandparents. I grew up with my grandparents. I understood the importance of having that to support and just having a community. And so that was very evident that wow, it must be so nice that you could just
Mm-hmm.
drive to your parents' house and either spend time or drop your kids off. And so it was
Drop
just
them
very
off.
clear to us that exactly, and we didn't like that was not our story. But it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a deterrent because we realized that while we don't have biological family, we could have a family of our choice. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we had. Friends became sister friend, my sister, my brother, and we were very intentional about developing relationships to sort of fill
Yeah.
that void because there was a void.
Mm-hmm.
Being alone in Hamilton, like I said, most of our friends are not in Hamilton, but we
Yeah.
were very intentional of forming really authentic and close relationship with people that we would have met either through church or friends of friends, like how we met you. Just really, really intentional about that.
Okay. And then I think like us, or like our relationship, things just came along the way. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
didn't show up all at once. You'd wish, right?
No.
So having experienced loss through, like you would, so we're gonna call it miscarriage, right?
Yes, it was
Having
miscarriage. Yeah.
experienced a miscarriage, now you have some degree of community, not your immediate family. And like I said, I am part of your village, but we've never been able to talk about it because I feel like it's so, it's not often spoken about openly, I don't think, but also the degree of comfort within which you are going to have this conversation with this village that you rebuild versus the village, the people that you have, your people. What was it
Mm-hmm.
like having gone through that experience with this rebuilt village, or if you didn't even rely much on the rebuilt vintage, but you had to put a lot of reliance on the device and your parents back home. What was that experience like, experiencing this miscarriage in this country, in a different country than your home?
Yeah. And so, like, the loss was quite devastating, and it was traumatic. It
Yeah.
was traumatic because it would have been my first exposure to a healthcare system that I trusted, or
Okay.
first world, you know. So I thought, yeah, I'll get the best possible care, and didn't feel like that's what happened.
Okay.
And so when it happened, at 20 weeks, so they called it spontaneous abortion.
Okay.
Of course, when you're pregnant, even though like statistics says 1 in 4 women are gonna have a miscarriage. 1 in 4, and at the time you don't even consider, these things happen, but it's not gonna happen to you because you never imagine, you cannot. There's no space to make for this idea that this thing is gonna happen. And so when it did happen, and it was so devastating, and like you say, just how much silence sort of surrounds reproductive trauma. What I learned was how common it was to
Yeah.
stories from other women, who would have been excited for us and learn that, oh, it happened to me too. Oh, it happened to me too. And on and on. Those were the stories that I was hearing, that, you know what, you are not alone, Siobhan and
Right.
Chris. You guys are not alone because we've experienced this too. Was
Yeah.
it comforting? At the time, I'm not even sure if it was comforting, but at least I knew that, well, other people have walked this journey.
Yeah.
Other people have walked this journey. And Chris and I clung to each other. And I think that space where there was a lot of honesty about what we were feeling, the pain, and we were able to share in that together. And one member of my village, a close friend who's like a sister, just walked with me
Yeah.
through that. Like, this was a space I could just go and say the most outrageous things, really be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it wasn't everybody. It couldn't have been everybody,
No. Yeah.
because while I know that communities where healing happens, people's understanding of miscarriages,
Yeah.
especially if you have never, some may not have known, some may not have, because you haven't seen a body. It's hard to connect, and there's questions about, is the grief legitimate, and so there's an uncertainty about how to respond to this invisible loss, because you never met the person, never met my baby, but for us it was real, right? Just visible evidence of being pregnant, and
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
hopes and
And
dreams,
just the
and so
knowingness, right? And then all of
yeah,
a
the
sudden you're
anticipation,
planning for this new life, and then it's,
yeah,
yeah.
then it's not there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so we had to be the care that we received was from a very small circle. Persons who would have experienced it and were sympathetic and
Yeah.
empathetic, and were willing to just make space so that we could talk very openly about
Yeah.
what we were feeling.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember hugging you for long. Like, I knew I didn't know what to say. Like you said, like, people have to understand. We were at a seminar. I don't know if you remember. We were at a seminar in Elmer, or one of those
Elmer.
random Elmer, right? And I just hugged you and I just held you long, and then just like, there's just this knowingness, like, girl, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I'm here for you. Hug. Because like you said, like, not everybody's going to get it, and you need your village. And you mentioned something there. I don't know how deeply you want to go into it. And I think that's expectation versus reality, when we are here versus where we're back home, and what we expect of the system here, just based on maybe preconceived notion, not necessarily
Yeah.
experience, but we're just like, okay, we're gone to greener pastures, so to speak, better healthcare, or better this, or first world this, or whatever the definition that different people may have for what Canada is. But it did not necessarily, you didn't get the support that you thought, or you didn't get the support that you needed. Can you talk a little bit about what how much things turned, like what you didn't get versus what you thought or you needed?
Absolutely. I mean, even before this, I've always been a staunch believer in women's rights and women's issues and wanting to support women. And so my interaction with the healthcare system, like I had no idea in living in a bubble that there were disparities for like when you interact with the system, whether you're Canadian or whether you're black or a black woman, and there's disparity with how you navigate the healthcare system. And so, like making the decision to go with this particular gynecologist, I thought, well, he would understand me better, and that I knew. That's what I felt. But my experience was like I was complaining a lot about
Okay.
pain, and just kept being dismissed. Oh,
Okay.
this thing's happened. This thing is happening, but there was no
Okay.
investigation, and this was just going on for a while. And
Mm.
again, being very dismissed and invalidated to, you know what, first mom hysterics, you know, and this is historical where women are not believed when they say, especially black women are not believed when they talk about what they're experiencing, especially in pregnancy. And which accounts a lot for mortality rate being higher for black women, either for themselves and even for their kids. And so explaining like, so I feel like something, it just doesn't feel right, because and it just kept happening and happening, and no investigation. And I don't know that that is the reason, you know, I don't know, but I what I know was I wasn't listened to. I wasn't listened to, and I truly felt failed by that system. Yeah.
Actually, when I went into labor in the morning, I called my
Mm-hmm.
midwife and I said, I'm experiencing cramps. We're timing them based on what you said. This is when you said we should
Mm-hmm.
call, and we're calling. She's like, oh, you don't sound like you're in labor.
Wow.
So anything I have in that season, I
Yeah.
apparently had a high threshold for pain because I then had this
Mm.
baby with no epidural, no nothing. And
Wow.
so I was there, then it got closer together. So I waited 4 hours. I called back and I'm like, they seem to be closer together. She was like, give it a little bit more time because this is COVID, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
we didn't want to go to the hospital to be turned back because we were going to a hospital that was about 30-45 minutes away. We weren't going to the
Oh,
one near
okay.
where we live, right? It's one thing to
Right.
just go
Right.
next door or whatever.
Right.
And at 1 o'clock, we were like, let's just go because this is beyond when they said that we must show up. And I was like 8 centimeters dilated when I got
Oh
there.
my
I could have had
gosh.
this child at home
In the car.
in the car because I didn't
Yeah.
sound like I was in labor.
You didn't sound like you were in labor. Exactly. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. But the thing
Interesting.
is, you experience this and you don't clock it as anything, right? Because they're the experts, right? You don't attribute it to what could be underlining this response to a mom.
Interesting. That's another level of conversation there, even, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you mean your journey through this season, and I do remember Chris being very, you are people of faith, right?
Yes.
Faith like a
Yes.
mustard seed, moving mountains. And Chris would always say, oh, when I have my child, when I had my child, even though I knew that you guys had miscarried. Chris's faith stood strong. I'm not saying yours didn't. I just remember Chris saying. And so fast forward, and you finally are now expecting again. This time is a little bit more, having that experience. I guess you're a little bit more cautious or conscious or whatever it is. We happen to be expecting at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then boom, COVID.
And COVID. Oh Lord. COVID. Another level.
The next level. So then you welcome your first child in the middle of the pandemic.
God.
Tell me a little bit about that experience now that not only is the village behind, but the village that we have here, everybody lock up in them house.
That's a whole, like, I think about, like you reference a faith and during that first loss, that was shattered for me. And there for a long time I couldn't pray. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I went through the motion of things, but nothing. There was nothing. It was, I guess, numbness, which is what happens in trauma, right? This emotional
Yeah.
numbness, inability to connect, shattering of your worldview with things that you held dear, and thankfully, again, my husband going through his own, because that's one thing with reproductive trauma. It not only affects the person carrying, but
Yeah.
it's a family issue, right? It's a grief that lends itself to all members in the family. And so music sort of kept me grounded.
Yeah.
Music connected me spiritually, the songs that I listened to. And sure enough, and it took a while before we got pregnant and dealing with issues of infertility. When you think about infertility, you think about persons who, and it's a spectrum, eh? Haven't been pregnant before, you don't anticipate that even though we took a while to get pregnant, you don't anticipate that you're going to have problems again. And so it took a while, and I had to make a decision. I think it was maybe after a year or more, even though we kept being told it's normal. No. Infertility occurs when you've been trying for 6 months or more. 6 months or more. And so got connected with a fertility clinic. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, that was introduced. That became part of her story. Receiving support from a fertility clinic, and I remember going there for treatment and just being with other women. We're there for the same reason. We all want a
Yeah.
baby, and just barely making eye contact with each other.
Like
Nothing. We're not
there's
talking.
yeah.
It's like it was the most interesting experience. Interesting is not the right word, because I can't
Bizarre.
even, because bizarre, because here we are in a place where we all have a same goal, because we're having a hard time, and we can't even support each other. And this is how fertility issues and reproductive issues is shrouded in silence and alienation and isolation, because that's what it felt like, you know and so going through that, we were treated with, we got we're able to have a baby, conceive a child through intrauterine insemination. So that's IUI. I don't know if you're familiar with. And it took us 2 tries for that to happen. And so with infertility, there's a sense of loss of financial freedom, because it's expensive.
Oh
When you're
yeah.
seeking fertility treatment, it can be very expensive. And so this was obviously still dealing with your loss, your initial loss, and the fears
Yeah.
around that,
Yes.
and going through this process of fertility treatment. And finally, we are pregnant. And like what trauma does, you know, just a trauma response,
Yeah.
trauma responses of hypervigilance, anxiety, like so much fear associated, happiness, because yeah, we have a second chance, but just the fear around, could this thing happen again?
Yeah.
And so we were very intentional about how are we going to interact with the healthcare system again.
This time.
This time is going to be different. We're going to be vocal. We're going to ask
Yes.
questions. We're going
Insist.
to, absolutely, absolutely. And so we were connected with a high risk team at McMaster University. And I have to say, oh my goodness, that the support received there
Good.
really restored my faith in good care.
Yeah.
Good care. We access midwifery services. We access naturopathic services, and I want to be so clear about the privilege to have been
Yeah.
able to have that access, because not every
Yes.
woman can have access to those
Right.
things. right? The holistic pieces and being able to be supported by the high risk team at McMaster. It's not readily available, accessible, not available, accessible. So I
Yeah, yeah,
want to
yeah.
acknowledge that there's privilege in that, and we were just really blessed to have been given that opportunity to be supported in that way. But
Yeah,
I remember any little pain that I felt,
I know.
I was at the hospital, and I didn't care whether it was I'm going and you're going to check me out and make sure everything was okay.
Yeah.
And so sure it was inconvenience, but I didn't care because this time was going to be different and I'm going to be listened to. So
Yes.
yeah, we made many trips, many trips to the hospital because sometimes I felt pain and yeah, and but the mental piece around how do you manage these fears, right? How do you manage the fears? It was a daily, everyday reminding myself, grounding myself, reminding myself that that was then and this is now, and
Yeah.
things are going to be different, and talking about it and
Yeah.
praying about it, right? Every day.
Yeah.
And as I got closer along way in the different trimester and I started to feel him, then it became real that well now I have proof that yep, he's alive and well in there because I can feel him moving inside me. And so I clung to those movements, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Amen. Um, and then there was a point, I don't know if it was soon after he was born
Mhm.
or the year after, that you guys went home for a little bit.
That would have been that would have been second pregnancy. Home as in Antigua?
Yeah.
But that would have been second pregnancy.
Okay.
Because if with Darius, like we had again going back to your reproductive story, we had lots of hope about who was gonna be here.
Yes. In
I
the
had
COVID.
I had a doula schedule. I had like because this was just gonna be it, you know. This was gonna be my time, and then COVID,
Yeah.
good old COVID, and I couldn't have. It was only one person could be in
Yep.
the room. Family couldn't come. How was I gonna do this without my mommy? How
Exactly.
was I going to do this without my mom? You know, like just it was just the most bizarre
Yep.
and scary time having a child for the first time and not having
So your
your
mom didn't, she didn't come? She couldn't come?
no, she couldn't come. Yeah, they weren't traveling. They weren't allowing family. You're looking at me like that wasn't your experience. I know, but yeah, yeah.
Well, it was trying to be my experience, but not on my watch.
I wish I was tenacious like you.
And it could have just been timing
Yeah.
and different things. And I guess because at the time I was so in tune with the immigration system that I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what it was. And then of course we had the supermom lawyer swooping
Yep.
when they capture my mommy passport. Like, I don't know if this is a prank, but it's not funny. Wow. And so you bring baby into
Yeah.
the world,
Yeah. No immediate
and
family. And I remember coming home, excited to be home, and like, okay, so what do we do with the kid?
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Um, yeah. Just learning on the fly. And I mean, we're very gonna going back again to privilege and how we were able to build our village.
yeah.
Because the pastor of my church is also our mom. She's our adopted mom, and her husband is our adopted father. And so, and by profession, she's also a nurse. It just so
Oh,
happened that
perfect.
way. And so, she was our support. You know,
Yeah,
she'd come by and check on me physically and baby and just reassuring, just grounding us because there were many days and lots of crying, lots and lots of crying, especially around breastfeeding. You know, you keep learning about breast is best, and again, these expectations. It's gonna be like duh. You just put your breast in the child's mouth, and everything is gonna go okay. Like no preparation at. it don't happen that way, you know? And so we struggle along with
Oh,
breastfeeding, and because it, just wasn't happening.
I
Just
know.
wasn't
Oh,
happening. The days of pumping and
I
feeling
remember.
oh
I
challenges
remember.
about expectation. But what is a good mom? I can't feed my child.
Yeah.
I cannot feed my child. This should be so natural.
Yeah.
Confronted with how do you connect with your body, losing that sense of connection because the body isn't doing what it's supposed to do. You
What we've been
know
told, what
what we've
we've been
been told
conditioned.
it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So,
baby number two comes along.
and then maybe number
Woohoo!
two, and very different than the first. We were able to conceive without any intervention, um, and really thrilled and feeling like, well, we did that with the first one and well, second one, truly, but we did all right, with the support that we were able to gain and share. We felt more confident with baby number two. Was there less anxiety? Yes, there was. But there's always that lingering thought, like during the pregnancy, like, how is this going to be different? How is this going to be different? But just get into that place, I would have been much better at talking about the initial loss and sharing, and which really grounded us in being able to enjoy the pregnancy, just the anticipation, because that's what reproductive trauma does. It robs you of that opportunity for connecting with the beauty of being pregnant,
Yeah.
because it's just a wonderful experience, this wonder of this person being molded
Made.
together every so just we were able to be more present and
Yeah.
more relaxed in that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the deciding factor to go home for a little while?
Oh, because we missed home.
Yeah.
We missed home for one thing, and we wanted our children, and that's very important to us, for our children to know
The
their
village.
history, to know the village, to meet family, to meet, yeah, the whole village. Yeah. And also for us to be reconnected and restored in that way as well. To touch the ground, to connect with nature, the beach, the food, that, like, just that connection that was lost because we couldn't go home for a while.
Yes.
That was just that for me. That was family was great, but also just the space, connecting with nature and that with the freeness of it was just restorative. Just restorative.
Yeah. If you had to give a fellow immigrant mom any tips, one who may be experiencing infertility and or have experienced miscarriage, on community, because like you said, you had to rebuild and you had a mini tribe. What kind of what did you do to rebuild community? Let's start there.
Yeah. I think it started with realizing that I do not have to be alone. Because by nature of anything to do with reproductive trauma is alienation, right?
Yeah.
It's aloneness, it's lonely. And so being really intentional about not holding on to the silence or the secrecy of it. So the willingness to share, like we would openly talk about Demetrius. That was important to us to name him. This is our first
Ah,
loss. And so we talk about him and share our story, and allow people to support us, right? Because there's something about being in community and not being able to receive help. I mean, some of that is just grounded within slavery, oppression, where we feel like we need to do everything alone. We got this. Until things get really bad, that's when we might reach out. And so just being really open, and vulnerable, and inviting that sort of intimacy with the people around us allowed for that community to be rebuilt in a really authentic way.
Where was this community mostly? Is it through church mostly?
Future.
Through friends? Through. Because if somebody, because I find that a lot of people don't have people.
Yeah.
And throughout different phases of the immigrant journey, like, all right, so for my first, I wasn't in church until 2017. And I came here in 2014. I mean, CJ and you guys were my community before then.
Yeah.
So then that kind of just happened. Came through a mutual friend. And then I Googled churches near me. They had a
Wow.
good website. I showed up. They were good. And that's so if where did you find, where were the pockets of people that came together for you? So one is church.
Right.
Two,
I
well,
can.
I came through a mutual friend, but that came through
Yeah.
church too. So that's indirectly through
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was able to also connect with through my program at school, like University of Toronto, when I did my
Ah,
master's.
okay.
Yeah. But it wasn't because as an international student, well, from my experience, was very difficult. And so I wasn't able to form as many connections, but I was able to,
Bonds. Yeah, me neither.
yes.
I don't even know if I've spoken to anybody since we've graduated. Maybe one or two times, but
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like one or two people from my university experience. But yeah, most of it came through church.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Find community people. That's a good place to start.
It's a
Church,
good
and then
place
you
to
can
start.
meet friends of your church people. Because we don't go to the same church.
No, I
We
know.
don't even
Yeah.
live in the same region or area, really. But we found our way to each other.
Yeah. And even now, with children, with children in
Moms.
schools, yeah, we have, and that has sort of even widened our circle because now that our children are in school and preschool, we're able to meet parents and develop, widen our community. Share experiences, talk about the similar struggles, hang out together, right? And so it's a good invitation to build, widen your village. If you have children, if you come here with children and you go to school, be intentional about connecting with other parents
Yeah.
because we're doing the same thing, trying to work and take care of our families.
Do you ever feel pulled between home
Hold.
and Canada?
I think there are moments when that happens. When I think about access to food that's good for me, I long for home. Not that food isn't good here, but things like fresh fish, the availability of fruit trees I can just go and pick, or I can go to the market.
True
And
organic.
you don't even have to describe it. It just goes without saying. You know what I mean? It goes without saying. Those instances, or when I think about the realness of relationships, usually just around relationships, that I long for that sense of home because people are so accessible. We live in close proximity to each other. I
Yeah.
can just walk over to a
I know. Like, how
friend,
many times do
you
we get to see
know?
each other? Like twice a
Oh my,
year?
like, and that for me, that is, those are the pieces, because at times living out here, like I said, we didn't have any strong roots in Hamilton, and we still don't have as many as we'd like. The
Yeah.
ability to just go by a friend and spend time, it
I
just has not
know.
been a reality. And so those are things that I feel I miss
Yeah.
tremendously, the close proximity and how relationships are solidified because of that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And sometimes, life circumstances, because we had family or, I guess, in laws live nearby who decided to move to Niagara
Oh
to buy a
boy.
home. And then there goes me. I tell people, if I am moving anywhere again after this, it's straight back home. Straight back home. I'm not moving to London. I'm not moving to Kingston. I'm not moving to Peterborough. Nowhere. Right? For my house? Nope. If I'm moving and have to make new friends, all of that stuff, straight back home. And so,
Straight
or I
back
can
home.
move in with you guys. This is fine. That's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
for
moving with you
sure,
guys.
for sure. And we've had dreams about, taking our little village and displacing it in a different place, and we weren't going to go without each other because what is it? Fundamentally, what we're talking about is connectedness.
Connection.
That's it. How do we maintain these connections? Because we understand how important it is and what it feels like to be without it, And that was so common to most of our stories. We didn't
Yep.
have parents who were born here. We all came here without our
Yes. So,
parents. We are
yes.
first,
So,
first. So, really wanting to maintain that connection because it's truly what grounds us and what allows us to feel less alone,
yeah.
right? To feel less alone and to have the support.
Yeah. Ebony did say that she wants to come there for 17 nights, a sleepover. Was it 17 or 14? One of them. So maybe one day.
Ebony gets it. She understands it.
Right.
It's interesting how kids always ask for sleepover, always want to spend time because they know what it feels like to just be in the company of others. It's us.
Well,
have to
I
think about it.
interviewed Ebony in my episode. I am episode 1 of this series. And I
Oh.
interviewed her, and it really shines through from the mouth of babes. And it was a candid
the
conversation, no preparation. I sat her down, forgot to turn on the light, and just asked her, like, what is it like? And it just came by everything. People to play with,
Yep.
people who to spend time with, people.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think of all of the studies and the conversations around why people leave Canada, that one is understudied. That one is understudied. Understudied. Yes. Well, you have been an amazing guest. We've been able to unpack this story, this journey, one of many. Siobhan, right now you actually support moms, you support women, you support people who have experienced reproductive trauma. Plus some, transition in from country to country, immigration trauma, post-immigration stress disorder.
Yep.
That's my term. So
Absolutely.
right now, that's what you do as a social worker. Tell us a little bit about your practice, and the. I just kind of reeled out who you support, but you can reiterate.
Yeah, so I'm a founder of Cattle Counseling Services that focuses on all the things you just talked about. And like I said, my desire for women's issues has always been there. But what I recognize in having lived my own experience is that reproductive trauma doesn't just affect women. Like I said, it's the families
Yes.
that also affects others.
Yes.
You may not be carrying the children, right? And everyone has a reproductive story. And so individuals who would have been affected by issues of reproductive trauma are my focus. And persons who would have experienced any kind of trauma, postpartum issues,
Yes.
right? Or just anxiety, generalized anxiety, or major depressive disorder, or changing from being a student and going out and working, joining the professional world, or leaving your work and retiring. These transitions, those are things that are really, really important to me. And hence sort of sparked my passion about the work that I do in private practice. I also work at a university, Wilfrid Laurier University, where I support students, particularly students who are Black and racialized, and that's near and dear to my heart because of my own immigration story as an international student, and the challenges and vulnerabilities that are there. So yeah.
Awesome. And as you mentioned that, actually, in terms of even reproductive trauma, for anybody who I only know, having unpacked this conversation, these are kind of like mini therapy sessions, I swear. When I was in university, I was checked for PCOS. And I was told at that age and stage, this is in my teens, I'm not 20, nothing yet, that I may have difficulty having children. It was never diagnosed.
Wow.
It was, you may have this, and so you may have difficulty having children, FYI. Bye. And I
Wow.
carried that around.
Oh my God. That was your label. You just always knew this might not be, this probably should even shadow your productive story.
Yes, with no
Yeah.
confirmed diagnosis.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so whenever we would talk about having children, for me, that was like, well, we'll see. Shh, don't let the universe hear you because it might, juju or something. And it was always, I always would shy away from the conversation
Wow.
because I knew that, or no, because I was told. I didn't know. I was told
You
when
were
I
told
was,
this.
before I was 20, that, oh, you might struggle having children. So heads up. And I had no issue having
Oh
children.
my
I
God.
had a smooth sailing pregnancy physically and the physical part of it anyway. And yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
person did cause trauma that I carried
Yes,
around
they
for
did.
maybe 10, 12 years.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that you can name that because that's what it was. And in this work, it's so important to put a name to these experiences because in silence, you carried it. And that became a part of your sense of self.
Yep.
I
And I've
might be a
never spoken
woman.
about it till today.
Wow. Wow, Christina.
These
Yeah,
conversations are important and
they are.
necessary, and I can speak about it a lot more openly, probably because now I had a child and she showed up and we went through the motions, and I was like, well, so much for that.
So
Not
much
that I
for
wasn't
that.
trying to, because I was in preparing my body for that, but I wasn't, it wasn't like a, as intentional as you guys were in terms of, okay, we're trying, it was like my body was being prepared. I was seeing a naturopath, all these things, because I
Yeah.
had that in the back of my mind that I have to do something extra for this to
Yeah.
happen. And
Yeah.
so I did. But still today, I don't have like a, you have PCOS, but maybe. Well, you can find Siobhan on
Yes.
LinkedIn. Hello.
Yes, you
It's going to
can.
pop up on screen. And at the gift of wellness.ca. Did we go
.ca.
.ca or
Yes.
.com?
.ca.
.ca, the gift of wellness.ca. If you want to speak to anybody about any of the topics that came up today, you're talking to somebody who gets it, who is an immigrant, who is a
Absolutely.
mom, who has experienced loss, a wife, a woman of faith, so many different things, an amazing friend. I appreciate you. We only see each other so often, but when we do, it's a good time.
It really is. And I miss
Yes.
you.
Oh,
I
I miss you
miss
too.
you. I know you're tremendously busy during the distance.
We'll come for 14 days at some point. Don't worry. Just tell Chris that I'm not cooking. He's always trying to assign me. Is he him or is you? Is you? Is you? Don't give me no homework. I'm there for a break. Okay. Any final words, Siobhan, to my audience before we land the plane here? If there's one thing you wish you knew before this experience, what would that one thing be?
I think if one thing that I knew, which one of the experiences?
Just one. You get to pick one. Pick one.
Just the importance of connection because I think about even culturally how we're always told, keep your business to your business, be private, you know. I can't tell you how many times I hear students who come to my space and they go, or clients in general, mental health. I can't share this because mental health is not supported by my family, you know, and the one thing is just that in sharing that's how those authentic relationships and communities are formed. And it's through that, through that healing happens when we connect with others. This work that we do also, because I also believe within you is the ability to heal
Yeah.
anyone, right? And but when we connect with others, it happens in such a beautiful way, right? And
Yeah.
you get to choose what your community look like. You get to choose. So
Yes. Yes. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you liked this episode, please hit that like button. Subscribe to As Told by Canadian Immigrants for more conversations like this. This was Mom-Versations, As Told by Canadian Immigrant Moms. Hey. And this
yeah.
is a part of a larger series. So make sure to tune in to all the other episodes covering a wide range of topics. Mothers with neurodivergent kids, mothers whose parents were held at the airport because the border lock,
Yep.
mothers who are having to manage their families back home and here in Canada, sending money abroad. There's
Yeah.
the all spectrum of the
Yeah.
immigrant mother experience. You'll find right here in Mom-Versations.
Yeah. And you remember that group I created, Virtual Mamas, during
Yes,
COVID when we had all
with
the moms. So,
yes, was Blondell in there?
yes. Who? Blondell,
Yes, okay.
Janelle,
Yes,
Kizzy. That was instrumental.
yes.
Look, you don't even know how comforting it was to have you. And because Janelle, my friend, she was also had, her daughter was a few months older than ours. Like, just to have
I know.
moms in the same thing.
Yes, I
That was
know. And you were like my pumping motivation. Because when we went to Jamaica, the formula she wouldn't take any of the formula. And then Siobhan always had like breast milk. I'm like, one day I want to be like Siobhan. You were like a pumping
Oh
machine.
my God. Gotta feed a
I
kid.
appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Same here,
Namaste.
hon.
Thank
Same
you
here.
very much.
Thank you for this. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You can continue watching the whole Mom-Versation series right here to tune into honest conversations about motherhood and that whole layer of immigration that makes motherhood so much more identity, immigration, and starting over here in Canada.